Hey everyone, Base DS here, and welcome back to more Kingdom Hearts Unchained Key. So before we continue on, one thing I do want to go ahead and say is this is going to be another post-commentary video, but not without a very good reason. So this video is going to be covering all of the medal pulls that I did over the summer hiatus. And in lieu of just uploading 3 videos, I've decided to just go ahead and combine them all into one and go over what all I pulled in those deals, and plus to avoid. God damn it. Hey everyone, Base DS here, and welcome back to more Kingdom Hearts Unchained Key. So before we go ahead and continue on, I do want to go ahead and say that this is going to be another post-commentary video, but not without good reason. So what this video will be covering will be the medal pulls that I did during the summer hiatus. So instead of just uploading each of the medal pulls separately as their own video, I've decided to just go ahead and save myself some time and just merge them all into one and talk about what I ended up pulling during those deals. And plus to avoid some mistakes that I made that I really wasn't too happy with. And plus there was a moment where I sounded like an idiot in one of the pulls. So yeah, I kind of wanted to avoid that. But as you can see, we are here in Daybreak Town's hub. And if you've already noticed, we've actually got a new addition here to the game. So just consider this a sneak preview for what we're going to be getting into next time. So, just wait. But for now, we got some medal pulls to do. So, the first deal in the summer hiatus was the key art deal, and to me, this was a no-brainer. I had to pull from this deal, because earlier in the year, we had HD Nominee come out, and she has an ability that copies the special attack of the medal that's placed before her on your Keyblade. But unfortunately, when she came out, she wasn't guaranteed in her banner. But in this case, for the key art deal, you was at least guaranteed one of these medals in each pool. And on top of that, they all had the same special ability as HD Nominee. So it was a no-brainer. I was at least going to pull 6 times. That way I would have double chances of pulling at least one of each medal. That was my main overall objective. I at least wanted to have one of each medal. And that did end up happening, so no need to worry there. But the first key art we got was Key Art Beginning. Unfortunately, it only had one special attack orb, so yeah, couldn't really do a whole lot there. But things do start to improve from here on out, so we went ahead and moved on to the second medal pull, which was a bit of a small improvement over the first, I will say. And we ended up pulling the next key art, which was Key Art Sky. It had 2 special attack orbs filled in, so already it was a little bit better pull than the first pull, but don't worry, things are just going to get better from here on out, trust me. But anyway, moving on to the third pull, luckily I ended up clearing my main objective, and I ended up getting at least one of each of these medals. Of course, in this case, I ended up pulling 2 of the same medal at the same time, so that was a plus there. Unfortunately, one of them was not orbed, and of course, this last medal was Key Art Bonds. So at this point, at least I had one of each medal. That's mainly what I was going for at this point. And the second one only had 1 special attack orb filled in, so yeah, nothing I could really do there. But this right here is when my luck really started to change. So, I ended up pulling another copy of Key Art Sky. Except this medal was boosted, and that rarely happens. So boosted means that this medal will have 1,000 more attack, 1,000 more defense, and on top of that, I got lucky and it ended up having 3 orbs. So, yeah, at this point you can probably guess which of these medals I was actually able to end up guilting. But you'll see how that turned out here soon. Trust me. I will say though, I was pleased with how it turned out immensely. But anyway, as we went ahead and moved on to the fourth pull, things were doing okay so far. I ended up getting a boosted medal. Second time I have ever gotten a boosted medal. The first time was a classic Donald on my iPhone's version of the game, but that was in a bit of a event and it exactly wasn't a pull, but we ended up pulling another key art beginning there, so that was okay. Only one orb on it though. So this is where the luck kind of started to run somewhat dry, but it would eventually pick back up later on down the road. So we pulled another key art beginning and only one special attack orb on it. Really nothing we could do on it, so unfortunate, but as I said, things do start to look up from here on out. So for the last pull, we actually ended up getting another key art beginning. So yeah, the same medal 3 times in a row. But as you can see right there, and considering what we've gotten so far, we were able to get both key art beginning and key art skies. So we were at least able to get 2 of the 3 medals. So as we went ahead and rolled the traits for key art beginning, the traits were really random on this thing. I don't know what the odds were. Basically, I ended up getting poison resist 20% twice on the same medal. So, yeah, I don't know what the crazy odds are of that, or how that even happened in the first place, but, yeah, needless to say, those are not the ideal traits you want on a medal like this. Really not the best that you would want. But yeah, as you can see, poison resist 20% in both of the trait slots. So yeah, needless to say, I at least wanted to get rid of one of those. And luckily, that ended up happening here as we went ahead and rolled Guilt for key art beginning, which actually ended up coming out pretty good. It ended up being 135 out of 150, so it was a nice, respectable guilt. And one thing I will say here right now, the guiltings here were done not under a guilting campaign, so this was the regular odds. It could have been anything, so yeah. The fact that I did good there was okay, but for Key Art Sky, this is when things really hit the roof here. Keep in mind, this is not a guilting campaign. I end up rolling a 146 on my first try. So yeah, needless to say, you're damn right I went ahead and used 4 magic mirrors to go ahead and bump that thing up to max. I was happy with that. I was ecstatic when I ended up seeing that 146. And the fact that I had gotten that on my first roll and on a medal that was boosted just made this medal all the more powerful. And in the end, I was happy with that. I was overjoyed. And you'll be seeing me using a lot of that medal. And on top of that, we got ground enemy defense down by 60%, but unfortunately, we could not guilt Key Art Bonds, so yeah. Bit of a low end on this little beginning section here, but yeah. What can you say? Sleep resist 20%. So the next deal that I ended up pulling from was actually 4 deals in one. I pulled once from each of the gem deals they currently had available at that time. The main reason why I was doing this was because even though you were getting a tier 5 medal, none of them were actually orbs. So basically you would think no reason to pull from this, but I was mainly doing this because of the gems that you would get in these deals, because eventually later on down the road, these gems are going to be vital to how your Keyblade will level up once it reaches a certain level. And in this case, I was just planning for the future and getting a few items built up for when I eventually get to that point. But for this first pull, I ended up pulling another Illustrated Terror, so I was happy with that. And of course got 3 power gems. Then we moved on to the speed gem deal, and things were a little bit okay here. Again, like I said, wasn't really concerned with the medals that I was going to be getting. I was just mainly doing these for those gems for when I can actually reach that point with my Keyblade, but as luck would have it, I ended up pulling one of the medals from the actual current main banner they had at the time, and in this case, I ended up getting SP Vanitas, so hey, no arguments there. I took it. I was fine with it. But then we moved on to the final gem deal, and things were pretty okay here. Nothing really too special to talk about, but still, other than that, I think I did good when it came to these deals. I ended up pulling Illustrated Sephiroth, so that went ahead and brought my current Sephiroth up to 5 special attack orbs, so luckily, I think it's close to being gilded now. I'm not exactly sure. I'll have to go ahead and double check on that. But the main attraction was the return of the falling price deal, so as you've seen before, the more you bought from this deal, the less amount of jewels it would take to purchase from again. So eventually in the end, after you've bought from this pull 5 times, each pull would cost only 1900 jewels. So luckily I ended up getting Illustrated Leon. He only had 1 orb though, but at this point I hadn't gotten him, so I was at least happy to just get a new medal for my collection. I was happy with that. But then as we went ahead and moved on to the next pull, I actually ended up getting Illustrated Sora B, and he had 2 special attack orbs filled in, so I was happy with that. Once again, I had a medal that I hadn't gotten at that point, and at least he had a decent amount of orbs on him, so hey, couldn't really complain. But then we went ahead and moved on to the next medal pull. And from that, we ended up getting Illustrated Aqua, but unfortunately, just like Illustrated Leon, she only had 1 orb filled in on her special attack, so yeah, not so much of a good pull there, but hey, I was happy with it. It's always good to get an Aqua medal. But then, as we went ahead and moved on to the next pull, we went ahead and got Illustrated Kingdom Hearts 2 Sora, so I was at least happy to get this one. Again, only 1 special attack orb, but I didn't have him at all up until this point, so that was a plus right there. And the first time he was actually available was when they had the Illustrated KH2 Kyrie deal, so I tried to get him from that deal, but unfortunately I couldn't pull it off, but I at least got him at this point. Then for the following pull, I got another Illustrated Sora B, and it had a special attack orb filled in, so I at least had 2 at that point, so it was halfway close to being gilded, so nothing I could really say there. I was happy with how that ended up being. But as we moved on to the final pull, we ended up pulling HD Nominate. As I said earlier, when she was initially available, she was a blind pull. There was no guarantee of getting her, so yeah, I was kind of caught by surprise when I ended up getting her, but considering I already had medals that were better than her, yeah. And then we capped things off with the Kingdom Hearts 0.2 Kyrie deal. So when I did the gem deals and the falling price deal, I went into those thinking it was going to be a while before we were finally going to get 0.2 Kyrie, because she is absolutely broken. And believe me, I've used her so much, I can vouch for that. Yeah, they end up announcing her availability a week after I did those pulls, so needless to say, I was really scrambling for jewels at that point, so yeah, it was a bit stressful. But anyway, I ended up pulling Illustrated Sora A in the first pull. He only had 1 orb, but I hadn't had him yet, so that was okay with me. I was glad to get that. Another medal to the collection. Then we went ahead and moved on to the second pull here, and we actually ended up getting KH 0.2 Aqua, so hey, I was glad to get her, and on top of that, she had 3 special attack orbs filled, so hey, no argument there. I was glad to get her. Then we went ahead and moved on to the third pull. But, yeah. The next pull was going to be a little bit weird, but I'll get into that later. But anyway, for the third pull, I ended up pulling HD Sora. Unfortunately, he only had 1 special attack orb filled, so not really a whole lot I could do there. So the fourth pull kind of threw me for a loop. So I'm going to say it right now. I actually ended up pulling Kyrie in this pull. And I was actually screaming my head off at this point because in the past, if you ended up getting a guaranteed medal before the actual guaranteed pull, that means you could still get that guaranteed medal on that designated pull. So yeah, at this point I thought I was actually going to be getting 2 0.2 Kyries, but it seems like somewhere down the line Square went ahead and changed that up and made it to where if you end up pulling the guaranteed medal before its actual pull, then you won't get another copy of that at the designated pull. So needless to say, I was kind of ticked on that. But hey, both she and Sephiroth ended up having 3 orbs on them, so I was okay with that, but still, I was a little bit miffed that I wasn't going to be able to get another copy of her, but don't worry, I did end up guilting her sometime after this, so, and you'll actually be seeing that here soon, but yeah, needless to say, I was really ticked off when I found out that I couldn't get another copy of her. It wasn't like that before. Back in the old days when the game first came out, it was possible to get the medal before the designated pull, and you'd be able to have 2 copies of them. So yeah, I don't know why Square changed that, but needless to say, if I went through with the original video, you probably would have seen me talking like an idiot. So yeah, let's just go ahead and avoid that. But for the final pull, we actually ended up pulling HD Riku out of that. So overall, it was a nice haul. I don't think he had anything too special in the end, I don't think. Okay, well, never mind. He had 3 orbs on him. Okay, then. That'll shut me right up. But then, we went ahead and threw 3 Mickey and Brooms onto 0.2 Kyrie, and we had to go ahead and see what kind of guilt we were going to get on her, just to at least see how my luck was going to be. Unfortunately, it only ended up being 102, but I will say that I have since re-rolled her, and she's sitting at 110 now. And with that, that is all of the medal pulls from the summer hiatus. So, yeah, a couple of highs, a couple of lows, but other than that, I feel like I walked away with a pretty good haul there, so nothing to be ashamed of. I had some pretty good medals from all that, and you're definitely going to be seeing some of them being used a whole lot during this playthrough, so that's something to look forward to. I'm at least going to go ahead and put them to good use. Granted, there are also some medals I will be using that I didn't show off here, mainly the VIP medals, the weeks that I actually bought VIP to get those. And of course, there was also the Kingdom Hearts 3 Sora EX medal they released to commemorate the new Kingdom Hearts 3 trailer that was shown off at D23. So, there's that. Haven't really found a use for it, but I don't know, maybe later on down the road I'll be able to, but we'll just have to see. But for now, I thought I'd go ahead and end things here, and next time we're going to be looking at the newest addition to the game, the pet system. We've got a little friend following us around from now on, so we better get used to it. So until next time, thank you all for watching. I hope you're enjoying things so far, and I'll see you all again later.